Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vero and today we are setting up for January 2024. This is also my last video for 2023, so kind of exciting. I haven't posted a video with my face in it for a few months. I've just been lazy. It just takes a lot of effort to put my face into a video and sometimes I just don't feel like it. But the channel has grown considerably in the last couple of months and I figured it'd probably be a nice idea to put my face in a video just before the year ends. Tomorrow is Christmas in Australia, so Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas and wishing you a very happy new year for 2024. It's also a time of the year where we're supposed to be thankful and I am definitely very thankful for every single one of you that watches and tunes into my videos every so often when I feel like posting.
Anyway, enough of me prattling on. Today's theme is inspired by my January 2022 theme, another take on a leafy green theme that I regrettably did not film back in 2022. But here are some photos. This paired with my December 2023 theme, I guess you could say green is kind of my new favorite color at the moment. I've never done leaves like these before, but I felt like integrating bigger ones this month. You know the saying, new leaf, new beginning? Or something along those lines, I actually don't know. But it felt right. I considered leaving them a single hue of green and not adding any dimension to the leaves, but I caved and decided to add some shading. Now because it's the cover page, this means I'm testing out various possibilities. So one idea I had was to use a darker green pencil, and I think it could have been great, but the page beneath this one has pictures on it, so the coloring was leaving a few weird lines, so I did abandon this idea. If you don't care about this though, I think pencil is a great option because it does require less effort in terms of blending, in my opinion. After that, I tried a darker khaki green and tried blending it out. I found that Crayola Supertips do blend okay if you do it fast, but I think mine are super old, so they're starting to dry up, meaning it was harder to blend out at times. As you will see, I tried multiple options on the first sets of leaves, but in the rest of the video, the blending is a bit more seamless. If you saw my reading journal setup, and for those who don't know, this is the first time I am setting up a reading journal, so I was really excited about it. I used really intricate flourishes in my calligraphy, and I think it must have been a bit traumatizing because I did a 180 and went with a simple, no mess, no difficulty font for January. I wanted the focus to be on the leaves. At this point, I was feeling that the leaves were just a little bit solitary, so I decided to throw in some multi-size dots on the page of different colors, and I think it did a world of good. Although you only see one color of dots, so I must have gone and done a different color off camera at some other point. Next up is my monthly log. Something I did in December was make my monthly log more rectangle than square, and I really liked it. If you followed me for a long time, you know that when I do calendar style monthly logs, the individual days of the month are usually square. This month of January, my calendar is a little bit more rectangular. Each day in the calendar is 3 squares across and 6 squares down. I always number my calendars in the bottom right of each day, and I'm using my super simple font. What is it, like Calibri Bold 12 or something? Typography jokes. I did contemplate placing a different colored paper over my calendar for a pop color, but eventually I decided against it because I'll use the paper for another spread in just a moment. By the way, the color looks more yellow on camera, but it is a very fluoro green from Archer Olive's Winter 2023 collection, which is also when I got their advent calendar that I have been unboxing on my shorts, so definitely check those out. And of course, if you want to buy anything from Archer Olive, don't forget to use code VERO10 at checkout for 10% off. As you saw earlier, I only shaded one of the branches of leaves, so I decided that was a bit weird and went back to shade the rest. Also, sorry for all the lighting changes. I've been filming on different days of the week instead of continuously on one day. The reason being that I don't want to spend my whole Saturday filming when I could be reading or adventuring. I don't enjoy being inside when the weather is this nice, you know, because it's summer. At the time that I'm recording this, the sun has just come out, but it is going to be a very wet summer, which is very disappointing because I am heading to the coast. My next spread is my habit tracker. You may recall, or probably not actually, but in August 2021, I did a circular habit tracker. And I was thinking about it the other day when I did my habit tracker 101 video, linked in the card above, that I hadn't done it in ages and I kind of wanted to try it again. And when I did, I realized why I hadn't done it again in a long time, but I'll show you why. For this kind of tracker to work, you need to predetermine the habits you want to track because it helps you place the circular tracker on your page. I chose 8 habits and I grabbed my previous journal to help me out. And also back then I had tracked 8 habits as well. So for this one, the spacing is just exactly the same. But if you had more or if you had less, you might want to put the tracker on a different page, make it smaller, make it bigger. So definitely figure out which habits you want to track first. To do this tracker, you will need a compass and a protractor. Now let me emphasize this. You need a good compass and a protractor. Why am I emphasizing this? Because as you'll see in just a moment, I don't have a good compass and my pen just kind of goes a little bit haywire. And while I thought I had a protractor, I actually don't, which is really weird because I'm sure I had some. Anyway, I eyeballed the whole thing for the protractor part, so it was a bit of a nightmare. Luckily, I could refer back to my original tracker, but it was hard and definitely not worth it. Also, this is something only I would complain about, but I recently misplaced my Muji ruler. Like, I have no idea where I put it and I can't find it, and it's really annoying using other rulers. I've clearly reached that point where I'm stingy about rulers. I didn't choose the stationary life. The stationary life chose me, okay? I tried my best to kind of fix the pen going a bit haywire with some whiteout, which it's not actual whiteout, it's the white acrylograph pen from Archer Olive. I also randomly traced a line all the way to the center of the page for some reason. I think I may have been watching Game of Thrones whilst I was filming, which I don't usually watch things whilst I'm filming anymore because I've got like 50,000 things going on in my head. But I have recently started reading the books again. It's been fun to read a bit and then watch one episode and see how they compare. I know it tracks similarly in the first season and maybe partly of the second season, but I know the rest of the seasons are all different. Fun story about the books though. I've read the first one 3 times, the second one twice, and the third one once. I never managed to get through the whole series because I read it in summer when I'm usually back in Australia before leaving again, so never have the time. But I'm currently living in Australia again, so technically I shouldn't have this problem because I'm not planning to leave anytime soon. But who wants to bet I won't finish it either way? Guess you'll have to check out my reading journal in 2024. Was that a good plug to my reading journal video or what? Anyway, I'm pretty obsessed with how my habit tracker turned out. Now, why all the effort? Well, we've got a lot of new viewers on the channel and I just want to showcase some different things every now and then, so you don't get bored of watching me repeat trackers. But in all fairness, this particular tracker is very aesthetically pleasing, only if you actually do all of your habits. If you don't, it looks patchy and it's a little bit hard to follow, so only use this tracker if you're sure you'll be doing the habits you're tracking. Like, I know I definitely won't be doing some of these habits, but I'm gonna try. This page looks so nice with the leaves and the little dots though, and I'm really happy with it. The habits that I'm tracking for the month of January are yoga, swimming, running, drinking water in the morning, although this should definitely be changed to drinking a protein shake in the morning, practicing piano, no buying anything, no sweets at work, and preparing my breakfast for the next day. I don't run every day at all, but I'd like to try once a week, so this habit tracker is already showing that it won't be great because I'm not going to do that every day. Now, you may have noticed as I was doing my habit tracker that something about the pages is off, and I've determined what it is. Recently, Archer Olive changed the spines of their journals, and they've replaced the soft pliable spines with a sturdy inflexible spine. While the look is extremely beautiful and infinitely prettier than the previous iteration, it does create one massive flaw that I haven't heard anyone mention yet. Archer Olive journals no longer lay flat, and this is the biggest disappointment. As you can see, I tried wrestling with the spine and some binder clips, and it kind of works, but it does damage the spine and it's not exactly practical. Let me know in the comments if this is something that bothers you too, or if it's just me being picky. I love Archer Olive, but I find this new spine so annoying, so I think I'm gonna have to use their older journals in the future as my bullet journals because these new spines just don't work for me as well as they used to, and I'm really sad. I ramble over. Back to my next spread, which is my to-do lists. For aesthetic purposes, I've decided to include 2 other list items on this page, and so we have 4 columns using in 2 different notepad colors. I've shortened them a bit to be able to fit some designs on the page as well, but we have personal tasks, goals for the month, VeroBujo tasks, and a new content calendar thing. I haven't used a content calendar in a while because I was quite inactive on Instagram, but since November I've been a little bit more consistent between YouTube and IG, so I want a place to track this and to write out my content. I didn't really do anything with it yet because I'm still playing around with the concept of a content calendar. I think it'll be a vertical calendar and I'll just assign posts to specific days. I'll also color code for Instagram versus YouTube. Following on from that, we have my favorite spreads in recent months, and those are my daily routine spread and my monthly review spread. I've mentioned my ideal daily routine before, and you'd think after putting it in my journal for 4 months in a row, I'd have figured out my daily routine by now. But I keep tweaking it and changing it, and in the new year, I'm hoping to swim even more. I'm currently swimming about 4 days a week and 2 kilometers per session. I'm hoping to bring those swims up to 3 kilometers per session in the new year, which means I need an additional 20 minutes-ish of swimming. This would mean getting to the pool at 6:40 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. And I know 20 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but I also ride to the pool, which takes 20 minutes. So, you know, it's all very interesting to play around with my sleep schedule. I do also find it quite hard to sleep super early some days. For example, if I want to get to the pool that early, I'd need to be falling asleep at 9 p.m. At the moment, I'm sleeping at 9:30 p.m. And a lot of the time, I just can't get to bed that early because I'm doing other things. But anyway, enough about my sleeping problems and my swimming problems, and on to the next item. I realized that I forgot to add some dots to previous spreads, so I went back and did that before moving on to my final spreads, which are my weekly spreads. Please note that I'm also doing tabs again, that's why I keep tracing a line in pencil. For my weekly spreads, I'm doing the leafy designs at the bottom of the page to jazz things up a little bit because they've been on every other area of the page so far, but not the bottom. Another thing I'm changing up is the base color of the leaf. Now, I decided to do this not because I wanted to, but because I was worried my textures were running low on ink. It all does work out at the end. I also grabbed my grid spacing ruler to help me place my lines. I do realize that after dividing my pages in 3, I do think I prefer 2 columns now since I've done that in December, but oh well. Also, I didn't line up my ruler properly, so the columns are all different sizes. Like, I don't know how I managed that. Guess I'm not yet reaping the benefits of this ruler. I know that I will in the future. It's definitely helpful. I just have to work out exactly how I'm using it. I wrote week 1 and Monday 1st of January because that's when we are starting this new journal. I also wrote drive back from the coast because I start work on the 2nd of Jan. As is usual with my weekly spreads, when they are in a rolling weekly format, I never know how much space to allocate myself. I think I'm slowly getting the hang of it, so I've decided to add another page of weekly spreads. But first, something I haven't done in a while in my bullet journal is a quote page. The quote is, "We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are." And I think it fits nicely with what I spoke about earlier with my ever-changing daily routine and my desire to swim more. I had to tell myself that while present Vero is probably unhappy sleeping so early and waking up so early, there is an end game to all of this, and future Vero will be extremely happy that past Vero swam so consistently. I will tell you about my project at some point in the future, but not yet. I added some of my dividing lines, and I do love how everything's turning out. Friends, we are nearly at the end of this video. My last order of business is to add the tabs to my pages and color code them. Well, not color code them, but just kind of color them in. One small change that I implemented this month was that even though there are 6 pages, I only did 5 tabs instead of 6. I thought it seemed nice given that my quote page designs actually go all the way to the edge of the page. And no, this was not a mistake, and that's not why I've done the tabs this way. I thought about this in advance, and I thought it would be a good idea. finally, for the moment we've all been waiting for, my flip through of all the spreads. I hope you've enjoyed this very chatty setup. I know I have. I'm already excited to come up with a theme for February, so if you have any ideas you'd like to see me execute, then let me know in the comments. I'd definitely do a shout out for a winning theme, if I pick something from the comments, that is. Of course, if you'd like to see how I set up my yearly spreads for this particular journal, be sure to check out my 2024 bullet journal setup. I hope you have a happy and safe end of 2023, and I will see you in a brand new video in 2024 very, very soon. Bye!